All right, so this is going to be 10 minutes of brutal YouTube marketing advice. I'm going to try to get through it in 10 minutes. We'll see what it ends up being. Maybe it'll be like 13 minutes, but let's get into it right now. So, by the way, if you don't know who I am, my main channel is Shane Hummus, got almost 1 million subscribers, make multiple six figures per month. And I like to teach busy business owners how they can do the same on YouTube and with their personal brand. So, fame versus money. Here's the first thing you need to decide, do you want to have fame? Do you want to be super well known to a wide market of people? Or do you want to make money? Right? Because if you want to be super well known to a wide market of people, that means you're probably going to be attracting B2C audience, right? You're going to be getting a lot of views, but they're not going to be the views that you necessarily want, right? Now, there are advantages to this. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely advantages to this. But when it comes to the easiest way to actually make money, you don't want to attract a wide market audience. You want to attract a very specific audience. You want to attract people who actually have money, right? And so the content that you make, it may not get that many views. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. I'll give you some examples of that. But the question is it actually booking calls? Is it actually making you money, right? That's what actually matters. So, one thing I'll also say is fame can bring more money, but it takes a lot of time, right? And there's also massively high competition. Now, so down the line, right, when you're famous, quote unquote, if you have a lot of subscribers, you get a lot of views, down the line, that can lead to making even more money in the future. But we're talking like usually 3 to 5 years down the line, once you've really built your brand. If you want to make money right now, if you want to start making money on YouTube right away, what you want to do is you want to make niche content, right? For an audience of people that actually has money, right? So solve real problems for real people with real money, the 3 R's. Okay. So don't get me wrong. If you write a book, you can get invited on podcasts. You can get paid for speaking engagements. Blah 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 blah. All these different things. You can also get invited to masterminds and stuff like that, and meetups. In many cases for free. I've gotten invited to masterminds that would have cost a ton of money, but I was able to get in for free or for a super discounted price because of the fact that I have a channel with 1 million subs. So there are advantages to getting quote unquote famous in your niche. But if you want to make money right away, just make niche content. Okay. Also, significantly more difficult because everybody's trying to do this, right? Everybody's trying to get famous. Very, very few people are actually making niche content the correct way to where, they don't really care about views and subscribers and all that. They just care about booking calls and making money, right? And getting leads. So, also another thing is you can always choose to go mass market later on, right? So if you do niche first, you can choose to go mass market later on, and that's totally fine, you know. But I always, always, always highly recommend that you start off niche because for one, it's easier to grow when you're small if you're making niche content, and then later on you can make that decision of whether you want to go mass market or not, and it's much easier to make money. All right, high ticket funnel strategy. I've talked about this many times. Now, of course, if there's like a SaaS product owner watching this and you sell to a mass market audience, of course, this doesn't apply to you. But for the most business owners out there, um, high ticket coaching services, agency type products, that's going to be the best way to make money because you are when you make YouTube like this, when you're selling to real people with real money and you're solving real problems, you're going to be attracting people who are money rich and they're time poor, right? And they want convenience, right? They want to buy back their time, they want convenience. And so you want to sell a high ticket product where it's high touch, where you save them a bunch of time, effort, and money. Where you save them a bunch of time and effort and probably money later on down the line, but in exchange for a high ticket product. So you give a high touch service or some type of coaching, and you make a ton of money. That's by far the easiest way. This is how people that, barely get any views at all are making a full-time income. Sometimes, a killing. They're making an absolute killing, just barely getting any views at all, which I'm going to show a few examples of that. So yeah, focus on people who have money, generally speaking. Of course, there's always exceptions if you're like making international content on how to speak English or something like that, which I've seen people do really well with that. Then obviously you'd sell low ticket. But generally speaking, try to sell as high ticket as possible. And then build a hybrid personal brand that solves real painful problems. Okay. And I've talked about exactly what a hybrid personal brand is in my other videos. Go check those out if you're interested in that. But basically, the fact that you have like a real person presenting to other people makes a massive difference. I've seen faceless channels, for instance, that try to sell products, and they usually sell maybe one fifth, sometimes even one tenth the amount of a personal brand because people don't really trust a faceless channel. They don't know you, right? And then guide potential clients to book a call funnels and close them on a high ticket product. You could do direct to Calendly. I've talked about this before. You can also do a VSL. Those are the two that work the best. And then later on down the line, you can add on. I'm just going to say add on webinars. Webinars are great as an add on. Some people do them as their primary acquisition method. There's some problems with that when it comes to lead flow and stuff like that if you use it as your primary acquisition method, whereas VSL doesn't have as much lead flow issues. And then skill levels for different YouTube strategies. Let's talk about this. Like the skill level that you need to have to make niche educational content to an audience of, like people who actually have money is like maybe 20 out of 100. It's really not that high at all. I mean, there's people that out like some of my clients that literally just make Loom videos like this, and they're doing 1 million, 2 million a year, right? If you're selling to like a niche audience of people and you're making content that solves problems for them, it's just an absolute no brainer, right? One of my clients recruits for a very specific product that is a massive headache for business owners, makes content on that, barely gets any views at all. It's a Loom video, and he's absolutely crushing it. Okay. Mass market educational content. This one I'd say probably like 40 to 50 out of 100, something like that in terms of the skill level. It takes a little bit higher skill level. It's still educational content, right? So you don't have to have insanely good editing and freaking, a producer and like all this kind of thing. But you do have to make it like a little bit nicer. It has to be a little more entertaining, and it does reach a broader audience. Um, and you still can sell high ticket. It's just going to be qualification is going to be a huge problem here. Okay. And ask anybody on YouTube who has a mass market audience and they sell high ticket, they'll tell you qualification is a nightmare for them. Okay. But you can still do it. Right. But yeah, the skill level significantly higher if you're making mass market educational content. Then you got faceless YouTube channels. I would say the skill level here has to be like 70 out of 100. Why? Because you have to have all the skills that you had here, but you also have to have really, really good operational skills because it's a faceless channel. You're going to be hiring other people to do all the work for you. And so your operational skills have to be really good. Okay. So that's why it's about 70 out of 100. Also, it's pretty much pure entertainment for the most part, and entertainment has much more competition. Okay, entertainment content, there's way more competition. Okay, so about 70 out of 100. And then mass market entertainment content, I'd say this requires you to be like 90 out of 100, 90 plus, like 90 to 100 out of 100 skill level. We're talking like Mr. Beast here. Like when you make mass market entertainment content, you are literally competing with freaking Mr. Beast, who spends like 5 to 10 million per video. Okay, good luck with that, right? So that's why it requires much higher skill level to do these. And that's why I always recommend just starting off with niche content. And guess what? When you get to like 20, 30, 40 skill level, then you can consider doing mass market content. But it's just so much easier in every possible way to just start with niche educational content. And then niche versus mass market strategies, because some people want to go straight into mass market for whatever reason. Maybe they're selling a low ticket product or something like that. I totally understand. But for most people, like I'd say 60 to 80%, it's better to do niche educational. But some people want to do mass market educational. So you're solving problems for a specific high paying audience. It's much easier to monetize even with fewer views. It does require a much lower skill level. This one aims for a much higher view count through entertainment or education. Usually it's like kind of edutainment, I'd say. Requires much more skill and effort. Um, you know, s- s- just significantly more. I think this is supposed to be 40. So 40 to 100, depending on if you're doing education or entertainment. And then monetization depends heavily on massive amounts of traffic, right? So if you have a video that flops, chances are you are not going to make very much money. So it can be very up and down in terms of monetization. And then some real life success stories. I kind of talked about these already. One of my clients is a guy, he owns an IT. company. I'm not going to say exactly the niche, obviously, because I don't want people to like flood his niche, but basically he helps people with a very common suite of technology products. He gets like 500 views per video and he makes about 10 million per year. Okay. He's absolutely crushing it. Another client gets about 100 views per video, recruits for a very specific position. It's making about 2 million a year. Okay. So this is just the way to go. I mean, if you want to make money, and of course, both of those clients, if they want to, at some point, they can go mass market, and maybe they can make a little bit more, but it'll be significantly harder. Um, and yeah, success comes from niche educational content aimed at solving real painful problems for a wealthy audience, an audience of people who actually have money. So focus on selling high ticket products and services, even with low view counts. This channel, for instance, in the first 30 days, I was able to get to 30K per month, right? First 30 days. That's it. Launched it 30 days later, 30K, right? Um, I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. Any of these other types, like for entertainment content, you're probably looking at like 2 to 3 years, right, to get to a high level. A faceless YouTube channel, probably like 1 to 2 years usually to get to a high level. Mass market educational channel, probably about 1 year. This one, you can literally do it in as little as like 30 days if you know what you're doing, right? So it's just an absolute no-brainer. I think I've gone over 10 minutes, but guys, if you're a busy business owner and you want to do YouTube, that's what I teach, right? YouTube for busy business owners. So go ahead, book a call with me down in the description and the pinned comment below, and let's talk.